what if you aren't actually sitting in the room you think you're in? Like, what if right now, as you're listening to this, reality is actually inside of you?
Right. It's a total paradigm shift. It completely flips how we perceive our day-to-day lives.
Exactly. So today, we're jumping into a brand new series exploring the invisible architecture of existence. And this first dive is titled, You're Not in Reality, Reality is in You.
Which is just a wild concept to start with.
It really is. And we are pulling from the transcripts and teachings of Bashar, channeled by Darryl Anka. And the mission here is simple, really. We want to take these massive, potentially overwhelming metaphysical concepts and, map out a practical, everyday shortcut to understanding the universe.
Right. No jargon, no complicated academic speak.
Yeah, just looking at how to stop fighting the world and start working with it. And the core concept we're starting with is the idea that physical reality, as we know it, is an illusion.
An illusion that functions like a mirror.
Right. It is not a solid, objective thing happening to you. It's a feedback mechanism.
Right.
It reflects your internal belief systems, your emotions, and, well, your frequency.
Yeah, so think of it less as a world you're walking through and more as a holographic reflection of your current state of being.
Okay, let's ground this immediately because I know my physical mind wants to reject that right away.
Oh, absolutely. It's totally counterintuitive.
Right, because if reality is just a mirror reflecting my internal state, why does getting a Slack message from my boss at 8 a.m. that just says, "Can we chat?" Why does that feel incredibly real and entirely outside of my control?
Yeah, the dread is very real.
It doesn't feel like a holographic illusion when my heart rate spikes and I'm staring at a screen dreading the next message. I mean, I didn't consciously create that.
Well, the intensity of that dread is actually the mechanism that makes the illusion so convincing. To understand why that Slack message feels so concrete, we have to look at the literal mechanics of the quote-unquote mirror you are standing in.
Okay, so how does it actually work?
According to the source material, this isn't just a poetic metaphor. Your higher mind actually wraps your physical personality in an energetic construct.
Wait, wraps it?
Yeah, like a specific frequency that acts as a 360-degree reflective surface. Because you are physically inside that construct, the reflection appears to be happening all around you.
So the higher mind is basically building like a virtual reality headset around me.
That's a great way to look at it.
And my own beliefs are the software generating the terrifying boss avatar.
Exactly. And if we look at how a regular glass mirror works, the logic becomes unavoidable. Like if you look in your bathroom mirror and you have a frown on your face, you know logically that you can't reach out and force the glass to smile.
Right, I'd just be smudging the glass.
Right. If you want the reflection to smile, you have to change your face first. You cannot wait for the glass to change before you decide to be happy.
But when we get that Slack message, we are staring at the scowling reflection of our reality and aggressively demanding the mirror change first.
We do it all the time.
We are sitting there thinking, once my boss tells me I'm not fired, then I will relax.
Yeah, we constantly wait for the outside world to validate our desired state of being, which is entirely backward. And the source material outlines 4 basic laws of creation that govern how all of this operates.
Okay, let's hear them.
They dictate why that backward approach fails. So law number 1 is simply, you exist.
Hard to argue with that one.
Right. If you exist now, you'll always exist in some form. Law number 2 gets a bit more conceptual. It says the one is all and the all is one.
Wait, hold on. Let's unpack that. The one is all sounds a bit like something you'd read on a fortune cookie.
It does sound a bit mystical.
Yeah, what does that mean practically for the listener sitting at their desk right now?
Think of a hologram. If you take a holographic picture of an apple and you cut the film in half, you don't get 2 halves of an apple.
You don't.
No, you get 2 smaller, complete apples. Every single piece of a hologram contains the information of the whole entire picture.
Oh, wow.
So, the one is all means that every individual piece of creation, including you, contains the structural makeup of the entire universe. You are not a tiny piece of the universe.
I'm the universe expressing itself as a tiny piece.
Exactly. You are the entire system localized.
That's intense. Okay, what's the third law?
Which leads directly to law number 3. What you put out is what you get back.
So that is the mirror mechanism we just talked about.
Yes, pure physics. And the 4th and final law is that everything changes, except the first 3 laws.
I actually have to push back on that 4th law.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Everything changes. Sometimes it feels like absolutely nothing is changing. I mean, people get stuck in dead-end jobs for decades.
Sure.
Couples have the exact same argument every Tuesday for 5 years. That does not feel like change.
That brings up a fascinating mechanism regarding how we experience time. The text suggests you aren't just changing gradually over the years, you are changing billions of times a second.
Like, billions?
Billions. You are literally shifting through billions of parallel realities so rapidly that it creates the illusion of continuity.
That's hard to wrap my head around.
Like, if you are listening to this while driving a car, you think you are in the same car you were in 5 seconds ago.
Right.
You aren't. It is billions of static, individual frames playing back to back so fast that it feels like smooth motion, like a movie reel.
Okay, but if I am shifting into a new, completely different parallel reality, billions of times a second, why on earth am I choosing the reality where my back still hurts, I'm stuck in traffic, and I'm stressed about work?
It's a great question.
Why wouldn't I just shift into the frame where I'm sitting on a beach?
Because of momentum and habit. You are taking the memory, the baggage, and the assumptions of the person you were a billionth of a second ago,
Yeah.
and you are recreating them perfectly in the present moment.
Just unconsciously copying and pasting.
Exactly. You are so deeply convinced that the past dictates the future that you force the next frame of the movie to look exactly like the last one, complete with the back pain and the traffic jam.
That is wild. We are essentially working overtime, like exhausting ourselves, to rebuild our own rut billions of times a second.
We really are.
If reality is this incredibly fast-moving, fluid illusion, what part of me is gripping the steering wheel so tightly? Like, who is insisting that the traffic jam has to be there?
That brings us to the physical mind and the ego. Now, the term ego carries a lot of negative baggage in psychology, but Bashar uses a very mechanical analogy here.
Okay.
The ego is described simply as a diving mask.
A diving mask.
Yeah. If you want to explore the bottom of the ocean, you need a mask to see clearly underwater. Otherwise, your vision is completely blurred and you can't navigate.
Right, everything's just fuzzy and salty.
Exactly. So when your overarching consciousness decides to dive into the dense, murky waters of physical space and time, the ego is the lens that keeps you focused. It creates the artificial boundaries of me and not me, so you can actually have a coherent physical experience.
So the ego isn't an enemy we have to destroy or get rid of?
Not at all.
It's just necessary equipment for the trip. It's the hardware that lets me know I end here and the chair I'm sitting on begins there.
It is inherently neutral. The breakdown happens when we overburden the physical mind and the ego with jobs they were completely unequipped to handle.
Yeah.
We treat the diving mask like it's the submarine captain.
We try to use the mask to control the ocean currents instead of just using it to look at the fish.
Perfect way to put it. To understand the malfunction, we have to look at the division of labor between the three levels of your mind. According to the text, the higher self conceives, the physical brain receives, and the physical personality mind perceives.
Conceives, receives, perceives.
The physical mind, the part of you listening to the sentence, the part that worries about paying rent, is absolutely incapable of generating an original idea.
Really? Incapable?
It lacks the capacity entirely. It only perceives the result of an idea that was conceived by the higher mind and translated by the physical brain.
That's a huge shift in perspective.
The physical mind's only job is to experience how something happened. It is completely blind to how something will happen.
Oh, man. That explains so much of our daily anxiety.
Yeah.
We are constantly backseat driving our own lives.
Yes.
We exhaust ourselves trying to map out every single turn for a 5-year career plan, agonizing over how we're going to get from point A to point B when our physical mind literally isn't built with a GPS.
It doesn't have the hardware for it. The higher mind is standing on a mountaintop. It can see the entire landscape, the final destination, and the most efficient path through the woods.
And the physical mind.
The physical mind is down in the valley, hacking through the brush with a machete. It can only see 3 feet in front of its face. When the physical mind thinks it is solely responsible for charting the entire route, it strains beyond its design tolerances.
And when you push a machine past its design tolerances, it overheats, it breaks down.
That overburdening is the origin of what we call the negative ego. The ego becomes terrified, resentful, and controlling.
Because it is doing a job it was never meant to do.
Exactly. It feels betrayed by the universe because it is working incredibly hard and constantly failing, simply because it was never designed to orchestrate the future.
So the immediate fix is firing the ego from the CEO position and putting it back in the mailroom where it belongs. Just let it be the diving mask.
Right.
But wait, if my physical mind isn't supposed to figure out how to get to my goals, how do I actually get anything done?
Yeah.
If I don't lay the bricks, I don't get the house. If I
Yeah.
just stop planning and drop all linear thought, Won't my life just unravel?
That is the ultimate defense mechanism of the physical mind, the fear of unraveling. To bypass that, the source material dismantles the entire concept of a means to an end.
Okay, how so?
We are conditioned to believe that building a house and living in a house are the same continuous event. The text argues they are completely separate realities.
How can they be separate? One directly causes the other in the real world. If I don't build it, I can't live in it.
They are only linked by consensus reality beliefs. We have collectively agreed, as a species, that you must endure the physical process of building before you are allowed to experience the result of shelter.
Right.
But fundamentally, mixing cement is an experience unto itself. Sleeping in a warm bed is a completely different reality. You only glue them together with your belief system.
I am really trying to wrap my head around this. If I don't have to experience the suffering to earn the reward, how does the universe actually function?
Well, the sources offer this great metaphysical restaurant analogy. Imagine walking into a normal physical diner. You sit down, you order a drink, then a salad, then the main course, and finally a slice of cake.
The physical mind loves this. It is strict linear continuity.
Exactly. But in a metaphysical restaurant, the waiter walks up to the table and asks, "Would you like to order dessert first?"
And my physical mind immediately screams, no. If I eat cake first, I ruin my appetite for the salad. Actions have linear consequences.
Right. The physical mind imposes that structure. But from the perspective of spirit, outside of our dense space and time, everything is an end unto itself. States of being do not require prerequisite suffering.
So there's no mandatory hurdle jumping.
No, take a business negotiation, for example. The physical mind views the stressful negotiation purely as a means to an end, a miserable hurdle you have to jump over to win a contract.
Yeah, just get through it so I can get the money.
But from the higher perspective, the negotiation is its own complete, valid experience. It is an opportunity to explore your beliefs, to figure out what you value, and to interact with another aspect of the universe.
So taking action, sending the email, having the meeting, building the house, it isn't a mechanical lever I pull to force the universe to dispense a reward.
Taking action is simply a physical reflection of your preferred state of being in the present moment. You act because that action is the natural expression of who you are right now.
Not because I expect that action to mechanically purchase a future result.
Precisely. The future doesn't exist yet. The only place you have any power is right here.
Okay, but if goal setting and pulling levers are pointless, how do I actually get the things I want? Because it sounds a little bit like you're saying I should just sit on the couch and be happy, which, doesn't pay the rent. What does this all mean for manifestation?
It redefines manifestation entirely. Usually when people talk about manifesting, they mean creating something out of thin air or dragging a desire from a foggy, distant future into the current reality.
Right, making it happen.
The sources are adamant that this is impossible. You cannot create anything new because everything already exists.
Everything.
Every possible parallel reality, every outcome, every version of your life already exists concurrently right now.
So I don't have to build a reality where I have the job I want. I just have to find it.
Manifestation is not creation. It is simply making the invisible visible. It is an act of perception. When you change your internal frequency, you literally shift your awareness into the parallel reality that already contains the thing you prefer.
It's like looking at an old school radio. Every single station, jazz, rock, classical, talk radio, is broadcasting simultaneously right now, filling the room with signal.
I love that analogy.
You don't have to build the jazz music. You don't have to force the musicians to play. You just have to tune your internal dial to the specific frequency of that station, and suddenly the music is audible.
And to tune that dial effectively without getting frustrated, you need to understand the nature of the frequencies available. The text points out that existence operates on a mechanical balance. It is 51% positive and 49% negative.
Wait, 49% negative. That sounds like a terrifying amount of negativity built right into the source code of the universe.
It sounds like it, but we have to detach from the moral judgments of good and bad. In this context, positive and negative are just mechanical descriptions, like the poles of a battery.
Oh, okay, so not evil versus good.
Right. Positive energy is integrative, inclusive, and expansive. It connects things. Negative energy is segregative, disconnective, and diminishing. It separates things.
Got it.
Because there is a slight 51% tilt toward the positive, the universe inherently supports expansion. It leans toward connection. But both currents are always flowing, and you get to choose which one you tune your radio to.
So how do we make sure we are tuning in to that 51% positive integrative current? Because when I get that Slack message, my physical mind immediately drifts toward the segregative, stressful, defensive side of the dial.
The fundamental key to staying in the positive current is dropping your insistence.
Dropping insistence.
You use your passion and your excitement as a compass. They tell you what direction to walk in. But you must completely drop your insistence on this specific outcome. Insistence is resistance.
Insistence is resistance. But how do you actually practice that? I mean, people build vision boards. They visualize the exact house, the exact car, the exact dollar amount in their bank account. If I'm supposed to follow my excitement, why shouldn't I insist on the exact thing I am excited about?
Because we go back to the mountaintop and the valley. Your physical mind down in the valley does not actually know what is best for you. It only knows what it has been taught to want by consensus reality.
Okay, that makes sense.
You might be visualizing a very specific corporate job because it comes with a certain salary, and from your limited vantage point, that looks like the peak of happiness. But the higher mind on the mountaintop can see over the next ridge.
It has a better view.
It knows that if you get that specific job, the stress will ruin your health in 6 months. It might have an entirely different opportunity prepared for you, maybe starting your own business that is 10 times more fulfilling than what your physical mind could possibly imagine.
So by insisting that it must happen our way, we are actually putting a ceiling on our own happiness. We are telling the higher mind, don't give me the mansion you see over the hill, give me the shack I can see right in front of me.
Exactly. Visualizations and desires are great tools. They act like starter motors to get your engine running, to get you into a state of high frequency and excitement.
But then what?
But the moment you reach that peak state of excitement, you have to drop the picture. Let it go entirely. Allow the higher mind to deliver what you actually need rather than what the physical mind stubbornly demands.
Okay, let's bring all of this together because this has been a massive rewrite of how we operate in the world.
It really is.
We are living in a hall of mirrors. The world is a holographic projection created by our higher mind, reflecting our internal state. To navigate this effectively, we have to fire our ego from the CEO position.
Ascend it to the mailroom.
Right. Let it be the diving mask, a tool for focus, not for controlling the ocean.
And we have to dismantle the idea that life is just a series of stepping stones, a means to an end. Every single moment is a complete, valid experience.
Right. Stop trying to pry the mirror's mouth open to make it smile. Just tune your internal radio dial, change your frequency, and reveal the parallel reality you prefer.
Beautifully said.
So for everyone listening, try this today. Next time you feel that spike of anxiety about a specific outcome, whether it's an ambiguous message from your boss, a massive project at work, or just a personal goal pause,
Just take a breath.
realize that your stress is simply the physical mind trying to do a job it wasn't built for. You are trying to force the mirror to change first. Drop your insistence on how it has to happen. Let the higher mind do the heavy lifting of mapping the route and just focus your energy on your immediate excitement and your present state of being.
It shifts you from a state of constant friction to a state of flow. And, well, to leave you with a final thought to mull over. If the universe is simply a mirror reflecting your state of being, and you are shifting through billions of parallel realities, every single second, who is the you that is standing completely still, watching all those reflections change?
Man, that is exactly the kind of question that will keep you up at night. Now that we know reality is happening inside of you, we have to talk about the invisible software that is actually running the whole program. Join us next time for episode 2, The Belief System You Didn't Know You Had.